Before we get started, in the comments section, let me know your favorite Ben Affleck and Matt Damon collaboration. Timestamps in the description. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. All right, guys, now we have The Rip, which is the latest film on Netflix for you to stream at home on your couch for your convenience. It is rated R, coming in at 1 hour and 52 minutes, and it is being described as cop drama, drug crime, police procedural, suspense mystery, true crime, whodunit, action, crime, drama, and mystery. Now, this production is written and directed by Mr. Joe Carnahan. This is what the gentleman looks like right here. If we just scroll down and look at his filmography, he was in charge of The Grey that came out in 2011, pretty decent film. Also, The A-Team and Smoking Aces. Out of those three films, I'll probably say Smoking Aces is my favorite. I don't know if he directed part 2 or no, he didn't, because it would be right here, because, you know, that wasn't that good. But pretty good director if you look at those three films. I haven't seen anything else. If you have seen the rest of Joe Carnahan's films and are a fan of his work, please let me know down in the comment section below, on top of your favorite Matt Damon and Ben Affleck collaboration. Now, when it comes to my expectations for this film, I don't want to say that they was through the roof, but I was really looking forward to it. I was pretty excited, saying to myself, okay, we have a banger. I'm definitely going to be covering this when it comes out. Why is that? Well, we have this cast here that's pretty stacked. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, like I said, Stephen Yeun, going all the way back to The Walking Dead, Teyana Taylor, I remember her all the way back, I want to say 16 years ago in 2010 or 11, in a Tyler Perry movie when she was like, Byron! Byron! Byron!
Listen, hey, girl, shut up! Be quiet, listen!
And she also did just win the Golden Globe for her Best Supporting Role in One Battle After Another. So shout out to her. We also have Sasha Cale, who was Supergirl in the last Flash movie. Kyle Chandler, I'm a big fan of his, and he's going to be one of the Lanterns in the Lantern HBO show. And Scott Adkins. Many people may not know who Scott Adkins is, but I'm a huge fan of his. I became a fan of Scott Adkins, I think in 2006 or 2007. It was the Michael Jai White prison movie, Indisputed or Undisputed, Part 2 or Part 3. He played a character by the name of Boyka, martial arts. And ever since then, I've been a fan. He was also in the latest John Wick 4 film. He was the guy in the oversized suit that was kicking John Wick's butt in that club. But he does a lot of punches and kicks. I also liked him I liked him in all of his movies when he's kicking somebody ass. And so when I saw him, I was like, hold on, you finna have the guy from Walking Dead, Supergirl, a Green Lantern, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon with a martial artist with a bunch of kicks and punches. Oh, it's going down. Netflix, let's go. So I was pretty excited. I wanted to see all of that going into the movie. So before I get into all my nitty gritty, before I talk about all my likes and dislikes, let me tell you exactly what this film, The Rip on Netflix, is all about. A group of Miami cops discovers a stash of millions in cash, leading to distrust as outsiders learn about the huge seizure, making them question who to rely on. It's interesting the way the film starts off pretty serious with the tone and the music in the background complementing everything. They throw you in, and I'm speaking of the filmmakers, in the middle of everything as if you're already supposed to know what's going on. It's not jarring, but just an interesting creative decision that did stand out to me. But you know it's important. You know that there are bad guys out there with nefarious plans up their sleeve, and they're trying to kill somebody. And without knowing the protagonist, wanting them to get away to safety. And to care about a character this way at the very beginning of the film, they did a great job of getting you locked in and caring. But after that, it was a small dip in the quality, in my opinion, when you're trying to get to know the characters. When I was talking about my expectations going into this film, I did list a lot of A and B star-studded names, and that didn't even scratch the surface. There are still more recognizable faces within the first act, the first 15 or 20 minutes of this movie, and initially it does get you excited. You're saying to yourself, wow, This is talent everywhere. How can they go wrong? Even if you just give them a simple script with the amount of talent in this film or in this scene, they're going to blow it out of the water. But unfortunately, that's not the case. I thought the dialogue, especially between Matt Damon and Ben Affleck when they was in the restroom scene, was pretty elementary. It seemed like a bunch of kids just in the locker room going back and forth about what they want to do over the weekend, which girls they have a crush on, or which student they was going to invite to the dance at the local gymnasium that's at the end of the week. This was a very jarring scene and I didn't expect it. Saying to myself, this is Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and this is the best script that you can come up between these two? Or at least just give me some great acting when you have these two A-list stars going back and forth. During the first act, it appeared as if they lost all the footage that they shot and had to redo everything with made-up dialogue on the spot. Yes, that can be a success in some cases, but in this instance, it seemed like a miss and just a giant waste of talent that they have with all of these cast members. Also, while I am a fan of Scott Adkins, I am more of a fan of his action beats, not his acting. I don't mean to poo-poo on the gentleman. I would love to meet him someday, but he is just not the best actor in the world. He's not trash, but when you have him stacked next to someone as great as Ben Affleck or Matt Damon, it does stand out. It shows that he is just not the strongest actor, and that's just another jarring scene right there. Ben Affleck can play any role that he wants to, and I'm not saying that this is his best performance. It's not by far, but it was decent at the very least. But again, when he's going back and forth with Scott Adkins, it just doesn't match. You have an A-lister versus a C-lister, and that can clock some people out, because it did for me at least a time or two during this film. And it doesn't help the fact that they are brothers and they're trying to explain this relationship, this dynamic that they have between each other. Instead of natural tension building up between them, which is always the case with siblings, it did seem forced and manufactured. And yes, that is the point of a movie. None of it's real, but it's not supposed to come off that way. After that, going into the second act, the scope of the entire film did reveal itself. Okay, the rest of this film is just going to take place in this house, in this neighborhood, in this cul-de-sac. It's not going to branch out to any other areas, to any other territories. And that's fine as long as the execution is there. Now, if it hasn't been obvious to you already, I was not the biggest fan of the way that this movie started off. It did seem bland, generic, and something that would be forgettable as soon as the credits hit. But fortunately, as the film progressed on, it did get better and better and better. And what was fascinating is the filmmakers shine light on what goes on behind the scenes with random police departments, whether that's a tactical narcotics team, the Drug Enforcement Agency, your local PD, the FBI, etc. There was a number of branches of government or the police force involved in trying to solve out who was the murderer and where is all this money coming from. So the mystery aspect of the film was there. But the best part is when you have all of these different police departments and government agencies, on the surface, it would seem like they're unstoppable. Like all they have to do is get on the radio, call for backup, and the cavalry is going to come and save the day. But therein lies the issue. You don't know who to trust. All of one department could be corrupt, or it could be one member of each group that is corrupt and they're teaming up like this is the Illuminati from Marvel Comics or something. So the whodunit aspect is there. Not that much suspense or thriller, but the whodunit and the mystery is bubbling up under everything. But an even better part with all of these police and government agencies, like I said, it seems like they're unstoppable, but this film shows that that's not the case at all. The cartel is a group of people that you don't want to F with, and it seems as if they have more power than the government or our police force, but it's all underground. It really did create a nice challenge for the police officers or the people that we're supposed to root for. Because it's like, damn, I thought y'all was all that in a bag of chips, but it's not the case here. Y'all's resources is quite short. I mean, if my job, my career, my occupation does give me the legal authority to go around shining a badge in people's face and I have to do what I say and possess a legal firearm, I'm going to want to have to trust all of my colleagues in front of me, behind me, up, down, left, and right. And that's just not the case here as well. No one knows who to trust. I don't know who to trust as an audience member, and I'm eager to get to the end to see how everything unfolds, and that makes for great entertainment. And if you do have the legal authority to kick somebody's door down, if you do have a warrant and go around with a firearm and can discharge it and most likely will get immunity if it goes to court, you would think somebody would love that job. But that's not the case here as well. A lot of these cops don't like their job. They're looking for a way out. And it's just great to see that the film touched on that and is very honest with the way certain police officers feel about their job. And let me add, this film is based on true events. I don't know how much is true or false. I'm confident that the filmmakers did take some creative liberties to flesh everything out and make the film more enjoyable. But there is some truth under all of this. Just have to determine on what really happened in real life and what didn't. As far as the action is concerned, it is decent. There was a lot of shaky and vibrating cams when one foe is chasing another and they're running through neighborhoods and jumping over fences and letting off their guns and emptying the magazines. Sometimes you can make out exactly what was going on screen, but other times I was going back and forth like, okay, who is shooting who? It's dark and I don't know what's going on. There is not much action in the movie to begin with, and that's not a negative because it's not necessary. And you would think so, especially with this having to deal with police, and they do have large weapons, but that's just not the main plot or the story. You want to know who is responsible for this money. Where did it come from? Why is it so much? Who is in charge and how the hell do we get out of here alive and not left crucified up on the wall with blood everywhere and our intestines hanging out of our stomach because we crossed the wrong path and dealt with the wrong people. But the runtime for this film is 1 hour and 52 minutes, and that does include the credits. And the only reason I bring that up is when the events in the film were changing locations, the way that the West or America has a 3-act structure in their films, you think that the movie is over, but that's not the case. There are more layers to this onion that need to be revealed, that need to be pulled back, and that just opens up the story and plot in new directions that you didn't think it could go in the past or 20 minutes ago. It makes you lean in like this, like, oh, okay, this is getting good. This is getting great. When everything did reveal itself at the end, I promise you, I did not see it coming at all. I was like, wow, you really did have us fooled right there from the beginning. There's no way in the world that I would have guessed that these are the certain events that are going on. And that was very, very entertaining. One of the negatives, though, or another one that I have to say about this film is you have all these familiar characters in the beginning and you're excited to get to know them, to see what motivates them out of bed in the morning and put on that badge or put on that vest and just get ready for war. But there's just no character development at all. That does not come into the very end of the film to where you see exactly what they're fighting for, their loved ones, people that they think about on a day-to-day basis. Why wasn't that at the very beginning of the movie or in the middle? It's at the end when the movie is about to end. No, I should have known that stuff earlier because I could have cared about the characters more. Now, maybe they put that towards the end because they're trying to trick you and not know who to trust, because some of the good guys are actually bad guys, some of the bad guys are actually good guys, and there's a lot of in between. But I found myself frustrated at the end of this movie where I'm really liking the characters, but there's only 5 more minutes of runtime left because we didn't get to know them until the very end. This was a very entertaining movie. I don't know if I would have wanted to go to the theater to see it, but if this is something that I can enjoy at home on Netflix in the comfort on my couch, man, you have a win right there in my book. I will go ahead and give my rating for this at the very end of the video, but for now, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I'm this close to 60,000 subscribers, so please hit that subscribe button. Also, thumbs up the video, leave a comment and share. And the comment that you should be leaving is, are you a fan of Joe Carnahan's work as a director-writer? And also, what is your favorite Ben Affleck and Matt Damon film collaboration? If I had to rate this film out of a 1 out of 10, I would give it a 7 out of 10. Yes, a 7 out of 10.